What are you doing?
Practicing Qigong and aura farming.
No, that's not what this is about. Ignore him. To help you understand what this is really about, we must go back, way back, to a long time ago, in a hospital not so far away. 'Twas a beautiful autumn's day when I spawned in the UK. Like everyone else, I arrived a curious baby. My first breath connected me to the natural world, and a certificate legitimized me in ours. They say this is when we are closest to the Force, a time we are unburdened by thoughts and traumas. All we are is love and life, the Force itself. I wish I could remember this time. As the years go by, we cannot help but forget, as we preoccupy ourselves imitating those around us. How else would we learn to walk, talk, sing, and dance? In our first 5 years, we observe and copy everyone we see, our parents, other kids, and even fictional TV characters. But why? Why do we imitate?
One reason is that our world is incredibly complicated. I mean, you don't see any other species inventing monetary systems, erecting global hubs of exchange, and getting everyone to agree that this can buy you a can of Coke. Clearly, we need systems and people to copy in order to know what's going on. And this is exactly why, as children, we are so neuroplastic. We're operating on iOS version 1, and every day we're going through a software update, understanding what we're doing, how to do it, and asking why. Fortunately for us, we never stop learning. Nor do we stop imitating either. We continue doing so through our teenage years and well into adulthood too. But why? Why do we continue to imitate others even when we are adults? This question struck me when I graduated university in 2024. The prevailing narrative at the time was become an engineer, save up and buy a house, find a wife and settle down. And this scared me for several reasons. One, I wasn't sure if I wanted to be an engineer. Two, house prices, especially in Australia, are despicably expensive. To buy one now would lock me into a location, lifestyle and job for the next 30 years. And three, I'm still learning about myself. How can I possibly onboard the learnings of another? And a child? Psh, forget about it. I'm still one. First world problems, no doubt, but real for me nonetheless. I started looking for any and all escapes I could find, and escape pods I found. My mechanisms were vast and varied, but more on that later. What this brought me to was a startling realization. Instead of dwelling on what I don't want to happen, why don't I instead focus on what I do want? But what's that? I've spent the last 24 years wanting everything that mainstream media has thrown at me. Lego, popularity, sex, a degree, and it's worked out great so far, except for the sex part. But none of these were things I thought of. They were all desires implanted in my subconscious mind by advertisers, pop culture, and societal norms. I soon discovered I had no idea what I wanted. Everything that I could think of was something that I was copying or imitating from someone else. And this led me to my next realization. In order to know what I want, I need to know who I am. Who am I? This question is far from cliche, and one I urge you to contemplate. It's taken me on the most fantastical journey so far. I've hiked the Peruvian Andes, surfed the Indonesian archipelago, mined the Australian outback, and now I'm meditating in the temples of Taiwan. I want to share with you the most important thing I've learned so far. To quote an ancient Hindu parable that was shared with me on the climb up to Machu Picchu, it goes something like this. Long ago, there was a time when human beings were gods. And instead of doing good and noble deeds with this power, we started to abuse it. Shocker. The god Brahma decided to strip us of our divinity and convened his godly council to decide where they should hide it. The first suggestion was to hide it atop the tallest peaks of the Himalayan mountains. This was soon dismissed when the council realized we would hike any summit to reclaim our divinity. The next idea was to bury our divinity deep within the earth. This soon was tossed aside when they remembered our love for mining, and the net present value that our divinity presented was sure to mean it was going to be unearthed. Then they thought, let's scatter our divinity among the stars. After much deliberation, this too was determined to be unsuitable. Knowing our relentless pursuit for answers, they realized we would even go so far as to destroy our own home in order to colonize space and search the stars. Bugger. Brahma thought long and hard about the perfect hiding spot, and eventually it came to him. In relief, he proclaimed, "Let's hide their divinity in the one place they won't look, deep within the center of their own being. Humans will look everywhere outside of themselves, but they won't stop and think to look for their divinity within." When I first heard this, I was gobsmacked. Not only was I currently hiking a mountain, but I was also working at the deepest gold mine in Australia. And I had read every self-help book and listened to every podcast I could find to try and understand who I am. This parable helped me realize that to find out who I am, I have to look within. So at this point, I knew what I was looking for, who I am, and I knew where to look, within. What continued to elude me was how. What I needed was a methodology of self-discovery, or knowing thyself 101, if you will. This brought me to Japan in 2025. It is here that I found that methodology and began my training. Qigong is an ancient system that dates back over 4,000 years ago to the mountains of China. Qi translates to vital life force energy, the energy necessary to sustain life itself. Qi abounds in nature. It flows through and within all living beings. Similar to the Force in Star Wars, which Obi-Wan Kenobi defined as an energy field created by all living things. It surrounds us and penetrates us. It binds the galaxy together. As for Gong, this translates to daily practice or cultivation. So in this way, we can think of Qigong as the practice of cultivating one's own life force energy, understanding your own energy flow and body to live a healthier and longer life. Sounds a lot like Jedi training to me.
From what I've learned so far, Qigong practice is comprised of two main modalities: forms, which are the postures and movements, and formless, meditation, breath training, and internal alchemy. The purpose of static and dynamic training is to unify the mind, body, and breath, to become aware of who we are in our entirety, and return to our original nature. For this, our breath is the key, our direct channel to the force. From our first breath to our last, we are always in a cycle of inhalation and exhalation. Becoming aware of our breath is the first step. In so doing, we become aware of our present reality, our mind's thoughts, our body's feelings, and our external environment. With this awareness comes the freedom to choose what to do next. This is the way.
You might ask, are you not just shifting your imitation games from modern systems to ancient ones? Why, yes. Yes, I am. I'm of the belief that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if it is broke, fix it. There's a reason Qigong has been around for 4,000 years. And there's a reason that I felt so stressed, lonely, and anxious in modern society. The pace of daily life, the existential threat of AI, and the shallowness of social media did not bring me happiness. But building up my attention, my awareness, and my energy through Qigong has, in every conceivable way. My hope with this channel is for you to experience this liberation too. I believe we all have the potential to become Jedis as the Force flows through all of us. Sometimes, as with Star Wars, it just takes someone outside of ourselves to help us realize that. So if you're interested, please subscribe to the channel and I'll do my best to share my journey with you. Until next time, may the Chi be with you, always.